There are other people, however, will tell you it's really not the foundations at all. It's a group known as the hierarchy. And I want to tell you a little bit about the hierarchy. I belong to something known as the Lucis Trust. It used to be known as the Lucifer Trust, but that has sort of a bad name. So Lucius is not as bad as Lucifer. And here's something we got from them in 1999. I want you to look at it. It talks about a festival and conference in 1999. And then it talks about mediation, letting in the light. And of course they don't tell you what the light is, but they understand what the light is. And then it talks about group fusion. Now this is the letter I got from them, and I've just copied it here. We affirm the fact of group fusion and integration within the heart center of the new group of world servers mediating between hierarchy and humanity. What are they talking about? Well, if you think that's confusing, let's go down to Roman numeral 2. Alignment, we project a line of lighted energy towards the spiritual hierarchy of the planet, the planetary heart of the great ashram of Sanat Kumara, and towards the Christ at the heart of the hierarchy. Well, you may not understand what they're saying, but you will before the evening is over. There are others who will tell you that the very, very center of everything going on today is the Illuminati. And of course, if you study the Illuminati, you know that it was founded on May 1st, 1776, by a man named Adam Weishaupt. And it was an organization dedicated to destroying all governments and all religions and taking over control of the world. Professor John Robinson actually wrote a book. He was approached to join this group. He did not. He was a Mason, and of course the organization was working within Masonry at the time. But he wrote a book to try to expose exactly what was going on. Now, if you read the 1913 British Encyclopedia Britannica, they have a fair amount on the Illuminati. If you read the modern British Encyclopedia Britannica, they hardly ever mention anything about it. And few people understand that the Illuminati was a very real force. My grandfather told my father about the Illuminati because at one time, every person in America of any consequence knew of the dangers of the Illuminati. And of course, if you look on the back of your dollar bill, you will find this symbol. And a pyramid, an Egyptian pyramid, capped by an all-seeing eye. And beneath the caption, Novus Ordo Seclorum, the new secular order or social order. And then you'll see the Roman numerals there at the base of the pyramid, 1776. And of course, the people who believe this is the symbol of the Illuminati will tell you that refers to the date that the Illuminati was founded, May 1st, 1776, not to the 1776 July 4th, when America was formed as an independent state. So many, many people will tell you this is the symbol of the Illuminati. Now, let me take you to the 1913 British Encyclopedia Britannica and what they were talking about. Another and obscure body of Illuminatis, or Illums, came to light in the south of France in 1722 and appear to have lingered until 1794. Having affinities with those known contemporaneously in this country as French prophets, an offshoot of the Camisards. Of different class were the so-called Illuminati, better known as the Rosicrucians, who claimed to originate in 1422, but rose into notice in 1537, a secret society combined with the mysteries of alchemy, the possession of esoteric principles of religion. Their positions are embodied in 3 anonymous treaties of 1614, a short-lived movement of Republican free thought to whose adherence the name Illuminati was given, was founded on May Day 1776 by Adam Weishaupt, professor of canon law at Ingolstadt and ex-Jesuit. The chosen title of this order or society was Perfectibilitas. Its members pledged to obedience to their superiors were divided into 3 main classes. The first included novices, Minervals, and lesser Illuminati. The second consisting of Freemasons, ordinary Scottish and Scottish Knights. The third of mystery class comprising 2 grades of priests and regent of Magnus and of King. Relations with Masonic lodges were established at Munich and Freising in 1780. The order had its branches in most countries of the European continent, but its total numbers never seem to have exceeded 2,000. The scheme had its attraction for literary men such as Goethe and Herder, and even for the reigning dukes of Gotha and Weimar. Internal rupture preceded its downfall, which was effected by an edict of the Bavarian government in 1785. Later, the title Illuminati was given to the French Martinis, founded in 1754 by Martinus Pasqualis, and to their imitators, the Russian Martinists, headed after 1790 by Professor Schwartz of Moscow. Now, there have been many organizations known as Illuminati, but of course, the Illuminati that was founded by Adam Weishaupt infiltrated the Masonic lodges of Europe, where in large part it just disappeared because now it could remain secret and there'd be no way people could know what was happening. The Illuminati came to the United States in about 1790, and we know that by a speech that was given by Timothy Dwight, who was the grandson of Jonathan Edwards, who was the evangelist who led the first Great Awakening here in the United States. And so the Illuminati then entered the United States. Actually, George Washington actually disowned his Masonic membership because of his concern over the Illuminati and the occult influences that were coming into American Masonry at that time. There are people like Bill Schneebelen and Doc Marquis who have been at the higher echelons of these secret movements, because with Masonry, you do not simply have 32 or 33 degrees. As you'll learn very soon, there are other degrees of Masonry, for Masonry is truly a fraternity within a fraternity. Now, here is one of the more important books. It was written by a man who no one would accuse of being a conservative. His name is James H. Billington. He is currently the Librarian of Congress, and his book, Fire in the Minds of Men, is one of the great exposés of the world occult movement. And he talks about the Illuminati. The Order of Illuminists was founded May 1st, 1776, by a professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt in Bavaria, Adam Weishaupt and 4 associates. The order was secret and hierarchical, modeled on the Jesuits, and dedicated to Weishaupt's Rousseauian vision of leading all humanity to a new moral perfection, freed from all established religious and political authority. Now, one of the more important things that Billington wrote in his book, Fire in the Minds of Men, and I wanted to bring this to you, he talks about the revolutionary faith was shaped not so much by the critical rationalism of the French Enlightenment, as is generally believed, as by the occultism and proto-romanticism of Germany. This faith was incubated in France during the Revolutionary era within a small subculture of literary intellectuals who were immersed in journalism, fascinated by secret societies, and subsequently infatuated with ideologies as a secular surrogate for religious belief. The flame of faith had begun its migration a century earlier, when some European aristocrats transferred their lighted candles from Christian altars to Masonic lodges. The flame of occult alchemists, which had promised to turn dross into gold, reappeared at the center of new circles seeking to recreate a golden age. Bavarian Illuminists conspiring against the Jesuits, French Philadelphians against Napoleon, and Italian charcoal burners against the Habsburgs. There were secret societies all throughout Europe in the 19th century, and of course many of them have carried over into the 20th century, and yet if you talk about secret societies today, immediately you were attacked. Why? Well, because of course they don't want you to know about the secret societies of the last century.